every intro I record sounds sarcastic. I don't really know why that is, but when I listen to it back, it all sounds sarcastic. So this is the new intro. This is Father of the Opinionated here. What I want to talk about today is the 2019 MTV Music Awards. I don't know how many of you people have watched this. Apparently, millions have watched it. Man, where to even begin? It's I guess with the opening song, right? The opening act is Taylor Swift singing whatever the fuck her song is called. Apparently, really talking shit about people, being mean to the gays and the lesbians and the transgenders, etc. So I don't want to call it a controversial song. It probably is to some people. But it's a good song about equality, basically, of people. But right, that being the beginning of the show, it kind of sets the tone for the amount of wokeness that's about to be presented to us. So, I will give MTV some credit in regards to the special effects that they put on the entire show. It was pretty amazing, where shit kind of looked 3D in a sense, shit floating over the crowd, etc. It was pretty cool. They did a pretty good job. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna pause this and then I'm gonna watch a little bit more, skip to some parts here, and we'll go from there. All right, so let's talk about the host of the show, this comedian. So quote unquote comedian. This dude is not funny. I tried to watch his stand up on Netflix. Not funny at all. Yeah. But I think the funniest part about it, though, is, the fact that he's, you could tell he's reading off of a teleprompter the entire time. And his jokes have been they're so water. They're just garbage jokes. But they try to be on the edge all at the same time when he starts talking shit about people getting their feelings hurt. It's and that's pretty funny because that's kind of where this entire conversation really is going to lead to is the feeling side of what this MTV Music Award is trying to represent. Again, the woke audience and the gay pride, very, very prominent. The women's rights, women standing up and doing their own thing, being unique, being different. But at the same time, you have this comedian out here talking about don't get your feelings hurt if you see something or hear something that you don't like. I have conflict with all of this because are these people, the people that are being praised and represented in this show, are these people not the same people out here decrying when somebody uses the word faggot, right? They're canceling people based on what is perceived to be homophobic slurs, homophobic anything, right? Anything that has to do with the word homophobic. These same people out here who are being represented and talking about power to the people, and we all need to be treated equally, right? They're having at the same time a conversation about the objectification of women, right? How women are treated in the media and video games, right? They're having that same conversation. Yet, if you watch this award show the entire time, women are being objectified. Now, is that because of their own choice, right? They chose to wear that. And so, therefore, it's not to be misconstrued as objectification, even though you're showing it to me on television, right? You're using, their sex appeal to appeal to the audience. Even the stage performers are doing the same thing, right? Look at the girl Lizzo. She had a big blow-up ass on stage and booty everywhere. Now, is that she's a big girl and so therefore it's okay? I mean, she wasn't the only one out there. Look at Cardi B. She practically had her ass hanging out with her outfit. All the women that they cut to in the crowd, all wearing, titties hanging out. It's such a, to me, it seems like such a double standard of arguments here, right? We want equal rights. we want to be treated equally, given the same opportunity. That is 100% true. Everybody wants that. Everybody deserves that. Every single person on the planet. Should we also then have the ability to love who we want? Absolutely. Be gay. There's no problem with that. Whatever, it doesn't, to me, it doesn't matter. That's not the issue here. I'm not complaining about the the opinions of these people, and what their lifestyles are like, and how it shouldn't be. I don't care. If you're gay, you're gay. I have no issues with that in any way. If you're a woman, I have no issues with that. If you're homosexual, I have no issues with that. You're transgender, no issues. I don't care. Do what you want to do. But the overall show here appeals to a particular younger audience of people, right? And this conversation that they're trying to have about equal rights for all of these particular types of people becomes a very dangerous message when you're speaking to children. And it's very interesting that, once again, these same type of people are the same type of people promoting children going through the process to change their gender. Parents have allowed their children to go through the process of changing their gender. And so this show here that is promoting this lifestyle also speaks to children at the same time. At one point, they do speak directly to children. A bunch of artists, I think it's Taylor Swift and her band of, her band of merry followers, right? They're speaking directly to the children, talking about it's okay to feel the way that you do. And it is okay. It's perfectly okay. But there has to be some lines that say, okay, well, even though it's okay for little Billy to think he's a girl, that doesn't mean that the parents of little Billy should go out and, go see a doctor about getting him changed over to be a girl, right? You can't do that. A child is too young to make that decision on their own. But I'm getting off on a tangent here because it's all the same conversation at the end of the day, but it's the message that MTV is sending here. They're trying to be super inclusive, right? They're trying to include every single person that they can. They're trying not to leave anybody out this entire 2-hour show. They're trying to make sure that they cover every supposedly held down group of people, right? But let me say this: who they forget to hold down? Honestly, this isn't some fucking white cis male guilt bullshit. This is a true fact, right? This entire 2-hour show, they're appealing to everybody, right? Except English speaking individuals, right? Right? Because listen, how many artists got on stage here, and how many songs did they sing that were in another language that we couldn't understand? Why was there no subtitles given? Right? That's it. That's all I wanted was some subtitles. Why did MTV not just hard encode subtitles into their broadcast for those particular shows? It seems ridiculous to me. I don't understand where it's. Am I saying that everybody should speak English? I'm saying that that's not possible. But I'm saying that if you're presenting a different language performance to a primarily English-speaking audience, then you should be providing subtitles for that. I don't know. It just makes sense to me, right? And is that a diss against foreigners? No, it's not. It's just about you're you're trying so hard to sound like the wokest network on the planet, right? Like they even tried to get political at some point, and flubbed the hell out of that with what's his name, motherfucking French Montana, coming out in a tiny ass leopard or whatever fucking fur coat. Like, I don't understand hip hop these days. Why is it that hard ass motherfuckers are out here trying to look like they're gay? I don't get it. Like, there's a level between difference and there's a level between gay, right? You know, being different and setting trends is one thing, but you're and maybe using the word gay is wrong, right? Maybe that's wrong, but feminine, I guess, is the better word to use. Like, why are these dudes out here trying to look like females? I don't understand it. But claiming to be the hardest motherfuckers. Like, you know, hip hop and fashion, I guess, has kind of always been a thing. But for me, growing up, it was just like, I don't know, the hip hop artists we had didn't try to look feminine at all. But that's neither here nor there. Again, it's all bigger conversation about the messages that are being sent to people. And MTV, man, they tried real hard to do good, I guess. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just old and I'm out of touch with music today and fashion today, but you know, I don't really think any of that matters, because as you watch this 2-hour broadcast here, you understand the messages that are being given. There's no confusion of what there's a very liberal, very liberal, program audience that they're trying to appeal to. It's a very set and defined group of people that this show is appealing to in every way, every single way. And look at the poor artists. Let me just be clear, right? The artists are, they participate because it helps them and it helps their brand, and it is what it is. But they could deny. They don't have to show up. They don't have to perform. But it's money, and it's brand recognition, right? And I understand all that. But look at the ones that are being mixed into commercials throughout the broadcast. There's Pepsi commercials, there's a Toyota commercial, and these fucking artists are in these commercials. I'm sure they made a shit ton of money doing it. I'm sure, I get it. But again, there's brand recognition, there's children, and there's a very liberal party. It's just very, I don't know, it's very manipulative, in my opinion, for them to do the things that they do on this show. and maybe, again, manipulative isn't the right word, but again, the messages that they're sending out here are very, very clear. But yeah, I don't know. Overall, super cheesy as well. All of the announcers are, what do they call them? I don't even know. People introducing other people. What was his name? John Travolta's old ass out there. Old Scientology ass motherfucker out there with his bald head, trying to be cool and swearing. Now, I watched a pirated copy, so I don't know if on television it was edited, but there was, if they bleeped it out or whatnot, but they were swearing up a storm. Maybe not up a storm, but there was a lot of swears that did take place throughout the broadcast. But again, it's so minimal and so I don't know, not in your face, that it's just glossed over. Now, again, I don't know if they bleeped it out live as it played, but anyways. But, and then the Sopranos dude, or the dude from Sopranos, the old guy, they had him out there. Again, how old is the Sopranos? I mean, Jesus Christ, the show is forever ago. And yet they're still, like, rehashing these characters. I don't know. Listen, they also did a tribute to hip hop in a sense. And They brought out OPP or sorry, they brought out Naughty by Nature, Wyclef Jean. Who else was in there? Shit, I can't remember everybody, but it was supposed to be like an old school people who are iconic to hip hop and their contribution to hip hop. Ice-T they brought out. Fuck Ice-T, but Ice-T's got his place in hip hop for sure. But he's old. It's not. He's a TV star. You know what I mean? It's images that you got to stop portraying at some point, I guess. But anyways, they throw in Fetty Wap into this mix of these old school influencers. They throw in Fetty Wap. I mean, it boggled my mind that they put him in the mix. Fetty Wap. What has Fetty Wap contributed to hip hop? I mean, if you say trap music, I mean, I just have to agree, I guess. But in terms of who he's sharing the stage with, I really don't believe he's that iconic. I really don't believe he deserved to have a place amongst those people. Especially in terms of longevity in the particular hip-hop world. Now, who would I say have been a better replacement? Eminem, for sure. I mean, for sure. Or anybody else from that era of Eminem. Anybody else. Anybody else would have been perfectly fine and acceptable. But they chose to put Fetty Wap in there. I don't know why. It's very confusing. Yeah, I don't know. It was a pretty interesting show. I was blown away by, like I said, the blatant message involved, the huge amount of liberal crybaby snowflake shit that took place on this episode or program or whatever you want to call it. But at the same time, I just don't get it. The mentality of these people is to cry and be offended and to get people canceled based on statements that are being made. Look at Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle just released a new stand-up special on Netflix, and people are all up in arms about it. People are crying about it. People are mad at Netflix about it. But you have to be unapologetic in the things that you say, especially if you mean them. And if you don't mean them, say you made a mistake or say that then. You say, hey, you know what? Yeah, this was a while ago. I didn't know what I know now. But people shouldn't be losing their jobs, losing their, shows or what, people, this whole cancel mentality. The same thing as the Me Too movement. The point that I'm trying to make here is that all these groups of people, the LGBTQ, and fucking, again, women, these are all the same people who are proclaiming that this type of show is bad. They're fighting against these particular types of things. Men, women being objectified on television, language that's being used. Of course, they never dropped any, real slurs on the show. But other people can't. Other people can't. Do you know what Dave Chappelle said on his comedy special? If you haven't seen it, I'm gonna give this away, and this will be the end of my little rant here. He said, way back when he had his own show, the Dave Chappelle Show, he had to get everything approved before it could go on air, right? And the jokes that were being written, right? And the lady told him that he couldn't use the word faggot in one of his skits. And he said, well, why not? He said, I can use the word nigger very freely every single day in every single one of my skits, but I can't use the word faggot. Why is that? And she said, well, you're not homosexual. That was her answer. You're not homosexual. He said, well, I'm not a nigger either. And so do you, when you think about that, and you think about that message that's being, given here, is that we can't say certain things, we can't feel certain ways because it's going to offend somebody else. We it's a very bad message to give to people. It's a very bad message to say you can't say something but I can. Right now I'm white, right, and I shouldn't use the word nigger, but I'm a huge believer in intent behind it. I'm not using the word hatefully. I'm not using it to be hateful. I'm using it to talk about the free speech of every right of every single person, right? I should be able to say anything that I want to say, period. The intent is what's important in how I say those things. So if you're offended by the things that I say, it's very possible you don't understand the intent. Thank you for listening.